All right. All right. All right. So we talked about runner's knee. We're talking about, we're doing a marathon series right now, workouts and strategies to help you achieve a certain milestone for the marathon. Those videos are down below. And last time we talked about runner's knee, bringing in some common running injuries now that are frustrating but common at the same time, and how to identify them, what to do, what are the things to look for, how to prevent them, how to treat them, and so on. So today we're going to talk about Achilles tendonitis, which is another frustrating but somewhat preventable injury with running. And again, a lot of these things are common, and I'm not saying common injuries, but common things that you could avoid. And just with little tweaks in your training, it doesn't necessarily have to be revamping everything either. It's training environment, what you do, what you don't do, and everything else. So today, again, we're going to talk about Achilles tendonitis. So we're going to move on to, we're going to talk about hamstring issues. We're going to talk about other injuries as well, stress fractures and all these types of things. So if you're a coach or an athlete, I highly encourage you to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that yet. And because we're going to continue that, we're going to continue the workouts. And we've got 400 videos on this channel already for free, middle distance training all the way up to the marathon. And I'm speaking from experience as a former competitive runner and a 2 decades long coach and a musculoskeletal therapist. So I hope you find this information helpful. And if you do, just hit the notifications, the thumbs up, and everything else. It's greatly appreciated. But today, let's talk about this, okay? And you'll see some slides that pop up, okay, pertaining to Achilles tendonitis. Again, like I said, it's very common in runners when the large tendon in the back of the lower leg gets irritated and inflamed, okay? And you'll know, when your Achilles starts to get a little achy and whatnot, and you figure out what the heck is going on? Why is this happening? So, and this is a common thing and happens a lot in men as well. So like runner's knee happens a little bit more in women. Achilles tendonitis happens a little bit more in men. And we're going to talk about these types of things as we go on other injuries as well. So again, if it gets bad, obviously see a doctor. Some of these things you hear are common sense. You see a doctor immediately to help diagnose it and to rule it out. And you want to prevent that it's not a torn Achilles, because that one will wipe you out pretty good. Okay. And again, more frequent in men, particularly as they get older. So, and that's important as well. As men get older, there's certain physical changes that happen. Sometimes we gain weight, do other things, you slow down. This is where other things like flexibility and other stuff like that become much more important. Okay. Whether you're training for long races or not, it could be a 5K, it could be a marathon. Another thing I want to emphasize is good shoes are absolutely critical. And this is kind of across the board. I generally, with the people that I coach, I encourage them, if they can, to get 2 pairs of shoes and alternate them with no matter what they're doing, instead of wearing the same shoes every day. You'll get twice the shelf life out of your shoes, and it'll save you a heck of a lot of money in the long run and in the short run. So short term and long term. So if you can alternate between 2 pairs, it's highly recommended. And this isn't like an odd but sometimes significant here. Folks that have high blood pressure or psoriasis are actually at risk of Achilles tendonitis. These are some of the outlying conditions and things that folks might have that can cause them to develop Achilles tendonitis over time. And again, it's postural. It's a lot of different things. So, and even certain antibiotics can elevate the risk of Achilles tendonitis. If you happen to be on fluoroquinolones, this is one of the things that could kind of trigger, irritate it. Okay. But let's talk about some of the things that are wise to do. Gradual increases, whether it's intensity or volume, doing it gradually. I talk about periodization a lot in my videos, which is a 3 to 4 week time period to allow the body to adapt to a new stimulus. Okay. And whether you're increasing, if you increase in volume, you stay there for several weeks before you move up again, rather than increasing, or even decreasing every week. So you need to let the body to adapt, whether you're going up or down, which is why I talk about periodization a lot. Okay. Rest and recovery, consistent rest and recovery, not necessarily rest and recovery because you overdid it and have to step back. So if you're infusing rest properly with training and doing it the right way, then you'll minimize the chances of getting sick or injured or both. So that's why I talk about this a lot. Rest and recovery on a regular basis is absolutely important. Shoes, we talked about that as well. Okay. Flexibility, an important flexibility routine will, and I'm a Wharton certified, Jim and Phil Wharton certified musculoskeletal therapist and active isolated flexibility technician as well. So this is gospel for me. As a former competitive runner, as a longtime martial artist, this stuff is critical for me. And I use this across the board, whether it's, whether we have patients that are construction workers, doctors, whatever, it doesn't matter. We've worked on folks across the board, all different sports. A good flexibility routine, particularly one that might be more specific to running or stuff like that, which active isolated stretching is, will go a long way to helping you prevent things like this. And again, doing it in the area around the foot and ankle, the Achilles, your calves, and all this stuff. That's why I have strengthening the calves here as well. When you strengthen your feet and your calves and you have good range of motion around all these areas, they flow and they work more fluidly together. And again, you're minimizing the risk of developing Achilles tendinitis. So good flexibility routine. I've got a couple of videos of a detailed routine on this channel. I highly encourage you to go take a look at them. Okay. And lastly, a couple things. Okay. Again, it happens when runners increase volume and or intensity too quickly. That's why the consistency is critical. Okay. And like I said, it starts mild and it gets much worse if it's not attended to. So these are the things I wanted to point out for Achilles tendonitis. And again, we don't have to go into this high scientific conversation. It's little things like this that are overlooked easily, particularly whether it's on or in the environment. Keep in mind too, if you're training in the pavement, it's a little bit less forgiving on the body than you are if you're training on soft surfaces. So it's the training environment, it's the amount of rest you get or the lack of rest you get, hydration, flexibility, all the things that work in unison with the running are components that are going to help you go a long way. So I hope you found this informative. Okay, I wanted to keep it short and simple instead of doing a 30-minute long video. Get right to the points and then point you to directions where you could look at a flexibility routine. Again, I said I got a couple on this video, and one particularly about the foot and ankles and the calves, so which will help prevent Achilles tendonitis. Because again, it's a more common injury amongst runners. That's why I have a video dedicated to just that on this channel. So please take a look at that as well. Load up the comments with your feedback. You have direct access to me if you have questions as well. I've got memberships for personalized coaching, blackbeltrunningcoach@gmail.com. The memberships are available on the channel too if that's something you're interested in as well. But reach out to me via email for questions as well. And have a great week, everybody. Train hard, train smart. And I'll talk to you next time.